Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. I know I am. I want to apologize about my really shitty uploading schedule. I know it's disorienting and really messed up. I apologize. I'm trying my best to do better. But today I'm going to do a ranking video of one of my favorite bands of all time, and I didn't think this would come yet, just not right away, just because they have such a short discography, but fuck it, let's do it. The band I will be focusing on today is My Chemical Romance. MCR are a band from New Jersey, and they fit in the emo, pop punk, and alternative scene. I don't know which term to use, either way it's going to piss somebody off. The band currently consists of Ray Toro, Frank Iero, Mikey Way, and his brother Gerard Way. The band have 4 studio albums to their name, with a compilation and greatest hits album, as well as some live stuff. The band was heavily active in 2001 all the way to 2013 when they announced their breakup. Then in October 2019, the boys got together and started touring again. Aside from the one song they released not too long ago, there hasn't been any plans for a new album, so with that being uncertain, I'll just get the main ones out of the way for now. Without further ado, here's my ranking.
Could be with you tonight. I would sing you to sleep. Never let them take the light behind your eyes. One day I'll lose this fight.
So, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what to say about Conventional Weapons. Hell, I wasn't even gonna have this on here at all, because it's a compilation album, but I see that every other list has this record included, and I didn't want to feel like the odd man out, plus I know everyone is gonna ask, so here it is. Even though it's at the bottom, I don't hate Conventional Weapons, not at all. I don't think it's a bad project, it's not something I love either. I'm really in the middle of the road with this one. I got songs I absolutely adore, and there's a couple I kind of skip. This thing opens with Boy Division, and this is without a doubt one of my favorite MCR songs. That chorus is fantastic, and I love the la 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 breakdown. Ambulance, weirdly enough, reminds me of Gangsta's Paradise. I know it's weird, but it's true. The World is Ugly is one of my favorite love songs. It sounds very gorgeous. The song after that, The Light Behind Your Eyes, just tugs at your heartstrings. Kiss the Ring and Make Room are both a kick in the face sonically. Those two always get me going. Other than that, that's really about it, honestly. This project just really doesn't give me much of a reason to come back to it. The other songs just don't have that depth compared to the songs I just mentioned. You could tell these were made for Danger Days, but the band just wasn't too happy, so they scrapped this project, but still kept bits and pieces of lyrics here and there. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm trashing this project, because I'm really not. I really like this thing, but it's a compilation album. It's good, just not perfect. At number 4, I have the debut, I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love. This album has energy, and it'll get you going if you're into hardcore punk or screamo. The raw production on this album makes it stand out, and I think it was solid for a first album. The process of this album took a while because Gerard Way was suffering from a toothache, but he still gave a really strong performance. The album opens with Romance, a minute-long intro with an acoustic guitar that reminds me of the main song to The Last of Us. Then the first real song, Honey This Mirror Isn't Big Enough for the Two of Us, shows the talent that lies within Ray Toro and Frank Iero. The melodies and screaming on this thing are astounding. Speaking of melodies, the song after that, Vampires Will Never Hurt You, my god, what an astounding track. One of my favorite songs from the band, period. I love the fast punk energy and Our Lady of Sorrows, Headfirst for Halos, and This Is the Best Day Ever. The album can take it slow with songs like Early Sunsets Over Monroeville. I absolutely love the beautiful guitar and how echoey the vocals are. And then the final track, Demolition Lovers, has a great mix between slow and fast that brings the album to a nice close. I also forgot to mention, I notice this album flies every time I hear it. I don't know if it's just me, it's a 40-minute album, but every time I hear it, it feels like half that. This record doesn't waste any time, and it's a great start to a legendary band.
And if the heaven ain't got a vacancy, then we just get up and go.
Picture yourself driving down the California desert in the apocalyptic future with rebellious outsiders and fighting to defeat an evil leader and his corporation. That's what it feels like listening to Danger Days. Despite having an accurate song title, this is just a great summertime album. The album has a mix of some blazing energy, like with songs like Na Na Na, Party Poison, Planetary, and Vampire Money. And there's more sunset, calmer stuff like Sing, Scarecrow, and The Kids of Yesterday. A lot of the tracks have you throw your fists up in the air and sing back the words, like with Destroy Ya and Save Yourself or Hold Them Back. This album really divided a fan base. A lot of the people didn't care for the change in sound. I personally really like it. It's nice change while keeping that same My Chemical Romance aura to it. It doesn't feel like a different band or anything. The electronic feeling and rebellious nature of this album just make it stand out above the rest. It's not my first My Chemical Romance album I'll pick up, but I'll admit, it's a pretty kick-ass record. At number 2, I have, of course, their sophomore album, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. This is the album that blew up the band. The songs and music videos for Helena, The Ghost of You, and I'm Not Okay were everywhere. Those songs, especially I'm Not Okay, were anthems for the band at the time and people who listened to them. I've heard a lot of people, and I know some of them personally, who say this is their favorite MCR album, and I can definitely see why. There is not a single bad song on this thing. You got the 3 songs I mentioned before, but you also have You Know What They Do to Guys Like Us in Prison, which is just a loud and explosive track that sounds like a prison riot. Thank You for the Venom is one of the band's most intense songs, and I love the guitar work in this thing. The opening riff and the bridge are my absolute favorites. That intensity carries onto the next track, Hang 'Em High. I love the western sounding whistle in the intro and the chaotic breakdown. Then that energy continues onto It's Not a Fashion Statement, It's a Fucking Death Wish. A song I actually never cared for at first, and it was my least favorite for so long. Wow, how young and dumb I was, cause now I fucking love this song. The drums on Cemetery Drive is super fun. I like how super soft that song is and how it bounces between soft and loud. The last song on this record is actually my favorite song on this album, I Never Told You What I Do for a Living, and you may think, really? This one? Yes, this one. There's just a sinister tone that I love, and the explosive middle section is fantastic. I love how Gerard ends this record by screaming, I can't clean the blood off the sheets in my bed, bringing the story behind the concept to an end. I know it's a very loose concept album that can be enjoyed with or without knowing the concept, and that's what makes a fantastic album. Speaking of concept albums, as you may have guessed, The Black Parade is my number 1 pick. I know I may sound a bit overdramatic when I say this, but not only is this my favorite My Chemical Romance album, but this is in fact my favorite album of all time. It's really hard for me to listen to this album without singing every single word of it. This album showed that this record wasn't just for the lonely teenagers with the dark eyeliner and bangs that sat in the back corner of the classroom. I know people that don't like emo or pop punk music say that this album is incredible. That's how great The Black Parade is. You shouldn't have to have me tell you how much of a big damn deal this record is. The whole concept of a dying cancer patient and the themes of death and dying is what I and a lot of people find fascinating about this album. The Black Parade opens with The End, weirdly enough, and I love how grand and explosive the song is. You can definitely feel the In the Flesh by Pink Floyd inspiration on this one. That song bleeds with the flat line into the next song, Dead, and this one feels like if Queen just got super depressed and down. The song is so theatrical and loud, the guitars on this track really stand out. This Is How I Disappear has this dark, sinister feel about it, almost to the point where it's uncomfortable, but in a good way. I love the lyrics and the imagery on The Sharpest Lives. I really don't think I need to tell you how great Welcome to the Black Parade is. Everybody loves this song, even my mom, she adores this song. I Don't Love You is a great slower track, even with its morbid lyrics, makes you think about the one person in your life that you can't stand. I love the swing dance sound on House of Wolves and how intense the track is. It feels like outrunning demons trying to bring you to hell. Cancer is honestly one of their most simple but most heartbreaking songs I think they've ever written. The track after that, Mama, is often flipped back and forth, with another track being one of my favorite songs on this album. The song has this bouncy guitar that sounds almost circus-like, but oh my god, these lyrics are so dark and disturbing, it's almost hard to hear at times. And the breakdown on this song feels like you're descending into hell. One of the highlights on this record, without a doubt. As for the other track I often debate as my favorite song, and that is Sleep. The lyrics put you into the mind of someone who has done something terrible, and again, the lyrics are pretty sinister and dark. I can't get enough of that wall of noise breakdown that's purposefully so loud that you can barely hear Gerard screaming at the top of his lungs as he tries to overpower the wall of instruments. Teenagers is a goofy, fun song that doesn't really contribute to the story, but it's a really fun song. Disenchanted seems to get a lot of love around the fan base, and that makes me really happy. This is one of the most underrated songs, very powerful and an emotional track. And the album ends with another big song from the band, Famous Last Words. It features one of their best guitar licks and one of their most catchiest choruses, and even the bridge too. If you couldn't tell that this was my favorite album, I just talked about every song on this thing. After many, many years, the Black Parade still holds up today, and it will continue to stand the test of time for a long, long time. And that concludes my list of my favorite My Chemical Romance albums from worst to best. Thank you for listening to me gush about my favorite band. What did you think of my list? Also, tell me your list in the comments below so we can compare. I would really highly appreciate it if you left a like and subscribed while you're down there, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.